Gold medalist Quincy Watts shares with us what made him an Olympic champion. He offers the keys to the castle that could help anyone attain their greatest potential. Enjoy our one-on-one interview with Quincy Watts. Here I am with Quincy Watts, 1992 gold medalist of the Olympics in, was it Barcelona?
Yes, Barcelona, Spain.
See, I remember. Now, a lot of people don't know, he was the guy that I had noticed in the 92 Olympics. And I thought, oh my God, I always rooted for you, I always wanted you to win, I always wanted you to be the best, and you actually won. What made you know that track was the way to go for you?
I just always loved running as a kid. It all starts off in your youth, whether you're playing football, whether you're outside just playing around and making up games and just entertaining yourselves as kids. And one of the things that I used to do with some of the kids on my block, we used to run around the block. And we used to just see, we didn't have no clock, we never timed it, just the first one back was the best. And a lot of times I finished third, but even though I finished third, I enjoyed the competition of just running.
So what made you want to be first? You weren't okay with third, obviously.
What made me want to be first was you hit it on the nose. I obviously, even though it was fun, it was a game, I always wanted to one day be the first one to run around that block, and be the first one to come in first, running around the block. And I think the competitive edge started with running around the blocks at a young age like that. And I just think that it showed me. I just wanted to compete and be number one or finish number one, and finishing number 2 or 3 just gave me a little extra edge, in terms of competing. Now,
you talked about your grandfather. You told me a story a while ago about your grandfather and a quarter.
Right.
What did that have to do with you becoming an Olympian?
Well, that's kind of, it's a funny story. It's the things that we do sometimes when we're young, we don't realize they kind of shape our lives. And my grandfather, he loved to drink Pepsi. And he would put a quarter on the top of the porch, and as we used to say back in Detroit, put a quarter on the top of the porch, and he asked me, would I like to win that quarter? And I said, yes, what I have to do? He said, well, just run to the store and grab me a Pepsi, and then he put a clock next to the quarter, and if you get back here before this time, then you can have the quarter. So I would run to the store, grab the Pepsi, I'd come back, the quarter's gone. I didn't get back into the time, so I said, okay. So then I come in one day from school, and I say, Granddad, you want a Pepsi today? And he'd say, yes. I said, okay, I want to try to earn a quarter. He said, okay. So he put the quarter down, he put the clock down, he said, go try it again. So we did that a lot of times, and then eventually I was able to bring the Pepsi back in the time, before the time had elapsed. I was able to get the quarter, and I think that that was really, really valuable to me at a young age. I had no idea it was shaping my competitive nature. I had no idea it was shaping me to be a runner. I had no idea it was teaching me how to run against the clock and not run against the competitors. So as I started getting into track and field throughout my career, I never got discouraged about a time or anything like that. I never got discouraged about a competitor beating me. Because to me, it was always about, okay, what do I have to do to get better time-wise? If I get better time-wise, then time-wise equals winning in terms of, what event you're in.
And you were, 6 years old, 7 years old?
Yeah, about 6, 7 years old. Yes.
Now, when did you start running, like Pop Warner, like running, in official little leagues, or I don't know what they call it in track?
It's age group track.
Mm-hmm.
So officially in age group track, I moved out here from Detroit. I moved to California in 84.
And you were?
I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And I was in junior high school. And my PE teacher, we had a couple contests on the junior high school at the junior high of 50 meters and a 75 meter dash. And I won both. And then he said, hey, I'd like to take you to a track meet called the Jesse Owens Arco track meet. I'm like, okay. So I asked my dad. My dad was like, sure. So we went out one weekend. My dad packed up everything. My dad took me to the track meet. I ran 3 races. I won 2 out of 3 races, and I finished third again on my last race. And that was the first time I was exposed to track and field from an age group organized standpoint.
Now, what races did you run at first? Because your gold medal is in the once around the track, which is the 400 meter, which to me is the hardest race in all the track and field, because you got to run your fastest for a long period of time.
Right.
And you won it in the 4x 1 mile.
4x400 meter relay.
4x400 meter relay.
Right.
Now, what events did you start off running?
The 100 and 200.
Okay.
I was a classic sprinter. My first track meet, as we talked about earlier, the Jesse Owens meet, I ran 100 meters. And from then on, I stayed in the sprints, 100 and 200. Sometimes I would run a 400 like in a relay. And by me being tall, I was always taller than my other competitors. You know, coaches always say that you're going to be a 400 meter runner one day. And I knew how painful it was, and I was like, no, I'm not. So I began as a sprinter. I began as a sprinter in 100 and 200, and finally got convinced to try the 400 in college.
Barack Obama, The Power of Change. This DVD includes 2 speeches of Barack Obama himself, his extraordinary wife, Michelle Obama, Caroline Kennedy, my 2 interviews, one with Hill Harper, the other with Tyson Beckford, featuring Mitchell Schwartz, Stevie Wonder, Dr. Cornel West with Tavis Smiley, and of course, Oprah Winfrey. So enjoy your piece of history.